All right, we are in the 2023 Thanksgiving tournament. We're in the qualifying round. I ran a practice round yesterday, so I went out and practiced, but made sure I did not qualify. Now they've expanded the qualification zone, so 75% are qualifying. So I feel like I almost got lucky shooting the -7. Now that we have practice tokens, people don't. One of my viewers commented, "Why would you not try and qualify on Monday?" So the way part of it is habits. Like before, you could do practice tokens, and you could go out there and practice the whole 27 times before you took the shot. Really, the only practice you could get on these courses was during the tournament. Like you had to go out and one-on-one and try and pick up the holes, and especially on days on tournaments where we were in multiple different courses, it was really hard to get all of the holes. And so to get a really good practice round under tournament conditions, we could go out there on Monday and you could run around. And one of the benefits of recording your own video is that you could run that round and then you could go back and watch it and see what you did to tighten up your notes a little bit and then make a run for it on Tuesday. And that was really kind of the only way. If you had a practice account, that'd get you a little bit more because then you could run your practice account. Normally what I would do is I'd run my practice account and my main account on Monday and just practice, not try and qualify. Miss my putts, do that stuff. And then the next day you get offered a $1.99 pack, which has got 25 katanas, 500 gems, and so that's the best deal in the game and pop that up, and then I'd run my practice account, and then I'd run my main account and try and qualify, and then I would play my practice account on Wednesday to get just one more round to practice in, instead of having to use practice tokens to get it all done. And I've played with Hammer and Hank. I sat in one day. Him and Ehrlich were running practice accounts and trying to tighten their numbers up, because when you watch a lot of these streamers, their numbers are all tight and you're like, wow, how did they get to that? Well, now it's easier. They can go in and practice the whole 27 times until they can figure it out, or they can go in today's round and they can go hit that hole, and it's I don't know. I liked it. I think I liked it better when we went out there, and if you didn't go play out on the course to try and pick up the holes that you were looking for, then, when you went into the tournament, you had to really work those tournament holes hard in order to get some good notes as the week went on. But now you can just spend a bunch of money to buy practice tokens and practice that hole. It's like going out on the golf course and saying, hey, I want to just play hole number 7 27 times today. They're going to make you play the whole course if you want to play hole number 7. Now you could stop at hole number 7 and then go back and pay again and then start over, but they want you to play the course, not play one hole 50 times. All right. So we had -15s were up at the top. And so like all of these tournaments nowadays, and it just depends on, you would think like as you go up the scale, like the scores that get, everybody wants to poo-poo rookie off, and we're looking at 30s, but shit, up here in Masters with the wins and the way they can do it, we're looking at 40 plus. So trying to get on the green on everyone. I will say this, I played this course yesterday in 2 practice rounds, both in rookie and pro. And I don't see any signs out here. But I went and played one-on-one yesterday in Tour 7 and Tour 9, and there are signs all over the fucking course. And so they just changed those holes up, and so we've got new holes in those courses, and there are signs all over the course. So we're driving down the street, and we've got billboard signs. We're Strodes. They've took golf courses and turned them into racetracks, so we got advertising all over the place. What I really would recommend that they do is on some of those holes, why don't they paint the stuff on the fairway so we can have like Goodyear tires or something on the fairway? They can cut that stuff into it and kind of have a little taller grass and get us some letters and some stuff out there. Wouldn't that be cool? And hey, it's just more advertising space for them because, as we all know, Playdemic's focus is on advertising billboard space, not selling balls and presenting beautiful golf courses. What are these new balls? Look at that. We got a 5.433. No precision on any of these. So, yeah, great. They came out with those precision balls like, yeah. I'm sure that these five power for people that don't have any 5-power toss and boost balls are probably good, but I am not buying shit from them because they're making all of their. They don't need us anymore. They make all their money on the signs that they put out there on the course. Hey, either give us, you can't. It's all they want it both ways. They want us to buy their packs on their shitty sign-filled golf courses. So I don't need to. I don't need to do any of that anymore. Let's get rid of all of our stuff. Get rid of all of our stuff. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Enter. Pay my fee. Yeah. I kind of think in that respect, it's kind of cool. If you really step back and look at it from that respect, we don't have to buy anything anymore to maintain the game because they're maintaining the game by putting signs out there. And the more I think about it, I was talking to Dale Appleby about this, and his comment is that they're doing this to try and jack up the Masters players because the Masters players have now figured the game out so well that it's broken. When you can shoot a 44 in a tournament, that's pretty broken. I mean, then we went from semi-simulation to full arcade. And so in order to try and block some of the areas where the Masters are launching their shots off, those signs, while we think the signs affect us, they affect the top players even more. And they'll work around those signs, so the only way that they'll be able to block their shots is to put signs up completely, have a barrier around the entire course. Everything. Let's go. Do I sound bitter? I am just a little bit tweaked about the deal. Where is Tommy's site? Let's go to Tommy's. Tommy, GC, Tommy. I don't want to go to YouTube. Come on. Let's see, is this site up? Shit, the site might not even be up. Might not even be able to look at any pictures today. GC, Tommy. Come on. Golf Clash, Tommy. I think I have had this happen several times where Tommy's site is down, and we've got multiple courses here. We'll just go playing. Fuck them. All right, what do we need on hole number 1? I have some base notes. Hole number 1 is an old Southern Pines hole, and I think what I'm going to take here, you see, I'm going to take that bag. And I'm going to take a Kingmaker. A Kingmaker. Roll it out. I ended up in the sand twice on this hole, so you could bring out a bigger ball and try and go to the other side and try and get way up there. You can go on the right-hand side and try and negotiate that with two rings off at Max Club. 2.1 divided by 1.5. 1.54 rings. Isn't it perfect? We'll see if we can get up there. We'll see if right here I overcurled it and end up in those trees. I know you need to get a little bit farther in front of that shadow. I think where I'm at right here, I might be like right on the cusp of in between clubs. maybe. And where I started that off, I could move to the left about a half a ring so that when I rolled out, I think even though it didn't clip those trees, when it rolled through that area around the trees where all the little needles are on the ground, it did look like it slowed it down a little bit and lost a little bit of forward movement. You can see a lot of people taking that shot and ended up overshooting just that little teeny bit. My opponent's in a really good spot. I'm just going to take this at club. I'm going to be in between a minimum grizz. Minimum. It's 2.7 divided by 1.4. It's 1.92 rings. And there's 1, 9, 2. Oh! I really don't like how much backspin I had to put on that. I think if I was forward a little bit, if you get the deal there is my shot. If you get forward a little bit more, here's the tree patch, and here's where my opponent's at over here on this, and here's that shadow. If you get just a little bit farther forward so that, number one, you're in your short iron, you open up the angle a little bit so that you're coming in more along this line as opposed to coming in where we're at, because there is a rough bump there, but like with that being in between, I couldn't even do the rough bump, and I really don't like coming at it with that much backspin. They would have won the shootout. Damn it. Yeah, that would have been close. I think they still would have won. It would have been close. All right. This next hole, my notes say Grizzly. Okay, yesterday, in the past, I've always done a 10% on this hole. It kind of like gets you started. You may have to make little micro adjustments, but like you're going to have to do at least the 10. And yesterday I went out and I did a straight up shot just to see where I was, and it was off about 10. So today I'm going to try 10 and see how much closer that puts me in. If I need to add on 0.1 or take off 0.1 or make a little micro adjustment. But we're going to do, in order to get into my Grizzly, so there's a red line issue on this hole. And in order to be in max Grizzly, you got to bring out a power 3 ball. And on a headwind day, it could be slightly problematic. Tailwind days, sidewind days, those are all great. If you bring out a power 0 ball, you can take it with a sniper, but you're right on the red line, and so you can't work out any side or tailwind. Let's take a Titan, the king of balls. That's right. You heard it here. My notes say 4 top spin and a half a right hand side spin. So it's 1.1 times whatever the wind is. And I believe yesterday, I'm using a power 3 ball, and I believe yesterday I did 1 per ring. As you go up in ball strength, if you got a maxed out Grizzly at max club, it goes, if you're using a lower power ball, it's 0.9 per ring. And as you go higher power balls, it's 1. But I've had more success with the 0.9. But I think I did 1 yesterday, 3.8. It's 4.18 rings. It's 4 tops, man. And half a right. $4.18 rings. There's 418. It would help if I could hit perfect, because hitting greats is not going to tell me anything. And if it goes in, woo, then that means I either got something wrong or I was in a good spot. Dag nabbit. Divided by 0.946. Yeah. Maybe. I'll have to take that again. Hitting a grate and then having it go in is the most... It's awesome that it went in. Let's take the drop. But from a next time we get on this hole perspective, it blows, because I was just off the cup with the straight up shot, and I added on 10%. That should have got me there. That grate should have put me off. Now you're all confused. The deal is, when you get in a situation like that and you're confused, don't make a change. Go out there and shoot it again until you can hit it perfect, and then make a change. Because if you start making changes when you're not hitting perfect, you never know. And especially on a hole like that with all of the freaking moguls and stuff. So when it's rolling through, you can't learn anything from a grate that goes in the hole. You just have to take the win and count it as good. Hole number 3. What is hole number 3? Hey, damn it! I don't want to go. Hey. Golf Clash Notebook, which hasn't updated in like 3 years. I have no clue why. Why? What is? Let's see if we can see it. Is this one of the Quail Hollow holes? It is. APOC Kingmaker. APOC. Need a 3-side spin ball. There were one of these holes, and it might have been this one. And seems like if we brought out, looks like I have some topspin boost, 3 power balls. Can I tag that? Let's tag that one. Let's tag that one just in case. So if I can use it. For the side spin's not going to matter if you're using topspin. We'll try it. We'll see what it looks like out there. And this is the hole when you're coming into the cup, the second shot. You got to use a lot of backspin. Let me think long and hard here. There were several of these holes that you need to have. Let me set up. I haven't been using. Let me set this bag up so that it's the same, but has a, say, Guardian. I'll be real excited when this Cataclysm gets to level 7, because I think its ball guide goes up to like 4.2, and at that point it is like, it'll be hard to get me off of pulling that Cataclysm out of the bag. It hits long, has great ball guide, topspin, backspin, curl. We will take the Guardian. That'll work. Let me switch that up, because it seemed like there was a couple of these holes that we needed a Goliath. And I'm not using this bag either. Let's set this one up with that right there. That should cut it. That should do it. Okay, I'm ready. And let's not play with that. Let's not play without an empty slot. we're farmers. You can't get any crop if you don't have a field to plant it in. Come on. I watched them this morning, my practice round yesterday, so I could make a basic note set just to have an idea. And I know on these two quail hollow holes, which look very similar, I can't remember exactly what I did. I think this is the one I had. I did. Let's get all of it on. And I'm going to pull back. I think yesterday I pulled back to the +2 mark. I have plenty of room. I'm going to go to the +6 mark, 2 rings off. .5 times 1.1 divided by 1.5, 256. Hitting it perfect. Yeah, and if I brought the topspin boost ball where I came through right there, the deal is you run that topspin, you can't get any side spin on. You can go from 3 to maybe 1, maybe a half. And that side spin is huge right there. If I wanted to run that topspin ball, I was at the +6 mark. You might actually pull back like where my opponent's at to the +2 mark so that when you come through, you don't need, your curl can get you around the corner, but you won't need as much of the side spin to help you. All right, +6 mark. 2 rings off. Alright. Gidly. We're definitely in Guardian. There's Max. There's Min. There's Mid. So I'm a Mid Guardian. What is Mid Guardian? 1.3 per ring. .3 rings. There's 3 1/3. Oh man, I thought that was perfect. Oh! I thought that was perfect. When I released it, I literally, my mouth, my fingers, my brain, my eyes, everything, I was like, oh, that's perfect. And then I was like trying to read that's not how you spell perfect. Damn it. I really do not like having to come in with all that backspin. I really like to change my angle so that I can come in a little bit more here so that I would need more side spin. Like this is the deal where like maybe you bring out, if you brought out one of those topspin boost balls, you're going to end up more on the right hand side. And that might be all right. I think getting farther up there so that you're in a shorter club, if you could get into your long iron, you might not have to do as much backspin. What's funny is look how far it is from the sand. You would think that you could get up there and roll it to the cup, but it does not play that way. Maybe if I got up there into the distance where I was in long iron, I wouldn't have to use so much backspin. I could run it up to the cup. So I'm going to change my notes here, and I'm going to go with a topspin boost ball. Topspin boost. And then I'll have to repractice it. I'll have to repractice it in order to get my landing spot right so that we're maximizing the club. It may be better. I know it sounds weird, you're bringing out a topspin ball so you can get farther forward, but it may be better. You may end up netting more yardage on the other end if you pull back just a little bit to open that corner up. because you won't be able to use side spin. So you'll have to do something. If I try and do that same thing and I don't have the side spin on there, I'm going to end up in the rough on the right. So you have to do something to open it up. All right, hole number 4. What is hole number 4? My notes say extra mile, 3 or 4, depending on the wind. Oh, yeah. I remember. Now, do I have any practice? I do. Okay, so I went out yesterday on this hole. I'm going to practice this. I went out yesterday on this hole in this account and looking at the different ways that you can play. Because in one-on-one, I always play this. This is a sniper hole. You can do a sniper out, and then you can do a sniper rough bump right to the cup. No fuss, no muss. I see a lot of people end up getting caught behind the trees and end up in the drink because they're trying to get on in one. And I win a lot of matches on this hole just by playing sniper, and it gives me an awesome opportunity for a drop. But yesterday I went out, and it seemed like there's a way that you can bounce off that island to try and get on in one, and it didn't seem like it was working in rookie, but I did it in pro, where I bounced from this island to this island, and got on. Right up there, short little putt, and thank you, ma'am, no problem. And that's the way we used to play this hole. You bring out a big topper because it had lots of topspin, and you could run it off that island and bring it over. And did I just take my big topper out of my bag so I don't even have a big topper to run? Dummy. What were you thinking? See if my opponent can get on. You really want to try and do this shot without any overpower, because that right there is going to end them up in those trees. They might get lucky and go through them, but that's typically a boom behind the tree. Now that's good. They got a good bounce off the tree. Okay, we are in practice. Let's try it with an extra mile. And that's where you got to get in order to get up there. 3.4 divided by 2.1, 1.78 rings. And there's 175, there's 178. Isn't it perfect? Nope, that's in the drink. And that's the problem with that spot over there, is it's one of those deals because of the movement that's on the course. If you're a half an inch forward, your ball trajectory is coming off instead of getting a nice upwards bounce. So your bounces are like this, and they're just bouncing forward. If it hits in the wrong spot right here, it takes a flat trajectory, so this bounces like this, and that means this bounces like this, and it's shortening them up, and you're doing the deal. So if you got a hill like this, and you hit on this face, it's going to go flat, and if you hit on the top, it's going to go high. And even though you can see all those little moguls that are on this course right here, so like if your wind adjustment's not abso-freaking-lutely perfect, do, 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 do. 2.8. I'm going to do 3, which is a ring and a half. And then I'm going to push back on. A little. And I hit it 2 rings great, which took all the curl out. And the deal is that you better keep rolling forward, because that putt right there is going to suck. And it really sucks when you're way back in the back and you just barely get on the green. You look at that and tell me how you mow that. Because they don't just like go out there and mow these. They have to mow them and row them, and they roll them, and in order to make it a putting green, and in order to have it consistent so that you don't have rough patches or patches that aren't rolled right. And How do you mow and roll this green? I mean, look at that. If you're a skier, which I am not, this is like a downhill freaking mogul. Yeah, I missed. Yeah, that's what you're. Yeah, this. I would rather be off pitching it on. This is one of the reasons why I don't like to do the shot to the left, where you just go all the way over to the other side and down there, and then you've got a short little pitch, because that short little pitch has to go through 3 of those areas in order to get to the cup. I really think that is the way to go at it. It is. Okay. That's what we're doing. Seems like I didn't write down my topspin on that, but if I remember correctly, it was somewhere in the 4 range. You don't want to have too much where you miss the rough and your second bounce hits in the clear, and then you'll end up on the backside. But you need enough that if you clip the rough, that you can roll farther to the cup than where I rolled. I go first. 2.4 divided by 1 1.25 rings. Do 4.5. I'm gonna do 5. I'm gonna do 5. 1.25 rings. There's 1.25. And I'm gonna push all of the forward wind back on. Put some curl. And hit it perfect. Clip the rough. Ooh. Whoa down, Cat Daddy. See, this is what I'm talking about, Playdemic. You need to make those signs a little bit higher off the ground so that ball would have rolled underneath of it. And Playdemic's thing, well, yeah, but if you wouldn't have hit the sign, you would have ended up in the sand. I'd rather end up in the sand and get rid of all these signs on the course. What's really chintzy about it is they got all those signs out there, and right now they don't have any advertisers. They're just pissing us off, but at least we know what game we're playing. That might be is that in the drink? That was close, my friend. Close. Okay, I'm gonna give myself 2 out of 3 ain't bad. If I hit it perfect or great to the right, it might go in. If I hit it great to the left, it's missing. And I hit it perfect. Perfect. All right, in the hole. In the hole. That extra little half a topspin I put on there was just enough to make it. It did clip the rough, but it clipped the rough right on the edge. Like half the ball clipped the rough and the other half hit the fairway. That's why it had so much speed coming through. Yeah. If you can get the island to work, what happened was I think they did go out there and put those moguls on there before with that little island. The first area that we're hitting was fairly flat, and they went out there and changed it and put the moguls on there. So now we have that effect that I was talking about. You could get a really nice run to the cup. That side's really, really nice, but what we need to do on that hole is pull out like the power 10 balls. And I know like a lot of you don't have them, but I'm special. I have some. I got some. Playdemic sent me some of them. They're a new thing. I'm gonna raise the stuff. And we can just start off on the green. Bring your Thor's hammer and just backspin it right to the cup. You don't have any of those balls? Well, I don't know what to tell you. What is hole number 5? A par 3. All right. There is a rough bump on this hole, and a grizzly is not quite enough. You can get there with a grizzly. The problem is this area that we're hitting in down here. We got sand, and then you got this little area here that you can set your ball up in. If you're using a grizzly, you've got to get up here into the neck where it's super narrow. Whereas if you had a Goliath, the best spot is just a little bit further back. Now, I could play this one of two ways. Let's see here. Let's look at my Goliath. Let's look at it. How much does and the Saturn does have enough that the Saturn would work. So if you've got a Saturn and your Saturn's higher developed, and I played with a Saturn, I liked it until they changed the Grizzly. So for like the first 2 years of the game, I played almost exclusively with a Saturn. It has a lot of tools. Fairly good ball guide, and got backspin, and it's got some topspin, and it's got curl, and so I mean there's a lot. It is a great utility club. But when they redeveloped the Grizzly, it did become a little bit better club. But I think I'm going to just take a Goliath. A Goliath. Let's open up a slot. Don't play without an empty slot. All right, what do I got here? What do my notes say? Goliath or Saturn, if I want to be in mid club, I'm going to bring a Katana. I think a Katana will put me right at mid. I don't necessarily need the spin or any of that stuff, but I think distance-wise that might put me. Now I may be able to do it with a Quasar, but we'll do it. So mid Goliath. Okay, I got some numbers. I'm ready. And what do my notes say as far as at club plus 0.1 round up is what my notes say. We'll see if that's even close. So at club plus 0.1 round up. Do. The qualifying round. See if my opponent can get up in there. Yeah, so if you bring out a Grizzly where the sand comes, where you're starting to go around the bend, you have to get way up into that in order for the Grizzly's topspin to work. Do. What is the wind? Let's do the wind first. 2.3 divided by 2.2 plus 0.1 round up. That would be 1.2 rings. .2. .2 rings. I should turn my grid on. 1, 2. Isn't it perfect? Perfect. Whew. I should have just added the 0.1. It was so the number came out to, it was 1.04, and I added on 0.1. And that put me at 1.14, and then I rounded up to 1.2. 1.1, and yesterday it was off on the other side, like just smoked the edge of the cup like that. So I'm right there. It's right there. Plus 0.5, 0.05, a half. All right. Close, but no cigar. And a Goliath definitely works better on that. And that spot was pretty decent. 2.2. Okay. It's 1 point. Let's see. Yup. Let's do. I'm sitting here looking at my notes. I did 2.2 per ring with a lower power ball. It might be 2.3. Let's go see. His Tommy sight's not up. Long irons, wood. No, it's a long iron. Long iron, metal. Wind chart. 2 power ball, mid club. Oh, a 2 power ball, level 9, mid club, 2.2. That's what I did. Okay. Just checking, just making sure what I did was in the range. Hole number 6. What is hole number 6? My notes say APOC Kingmaker Max Hook. I remember. APOC Kingmaker. Let's take that bag, just in case. That'll work. That will work. Now where I'm going, I'm trying to get all the way down that line, all the way down so that I'm in front of the trees and I have a short iron to the cup. And I'm not trying to do it on the right where you bring out a topspin. I'm going to do the max overpower hook. I had to move there's a little red tree out there that we use as our starting spot. And I've moved my shot to the right of that. There's another tree that I'm aiming at. It's good when you're doing it. For me, the way I do max overpower hook shots, the first time you do them, you might worry about rings, but normally the deal is that's only the first time I'm aiming right at that tree, and that puts my ball guide slightly into that tree when I relax it. 3.9, 1.1 times 3.9 divided by 1.5 is 2.86 rings. There's 1, 2, 8, 6. I think I got it all. After the first time, where you go out and you do the max overpower hook shot and you get it lined up and you get it where you want it, you're working the rings. If it's 20 rings or 21 rings that you're pulling off, and the first time you do that, mark a spot. So you used rings and you went out to a spot. Well, then mark that spot. Why reinvent the wheel every time? So the next time you go out there, you got to count out 21 rings. 21 rings is the freaking tree, or 21 rings is 2 rings off of the rough, or pick a spot, because what happens is when you pick that spot and you take your first shot and you go, wow, I needed to move that a little bit more to the right, or I needed to move it a little bit more to the left. You know where to start. You know a little bit more to the left or right from that spot, instead of reinventing the wheel every single time. Now my notes say plus 0.1 at club, plus 0.1. There's min. There's max. So I'm at mid. And mid, Kingfisher, mid at 1.6. It's 3.6 divided by 1.6. It's 2.25. It's 2.35 rings. I'm going to put on 1, 2 backspin. $2.35 rings. There's 225, 235. Oh, that is in the fucking hole on a perfect. And it's in the hole on a great. No, that would have been in the hole on a perfect. That club is so damn accurate that is literally the difference between a perfect and a great. Arr, arr. If you're going to go on the side that my opponent's at, that rough bump right there is awesome. It's definitely a thing of beauty. I'm not sure that you need a topspin boost ball on that hole if you're in the right spot, but with this pin placement, I think with the secondary pin placement, you might.
When you have a chance, could you come in and adjust my chair for me on my desk?
Okay.
Thank you.
Close. Dag nabbit. All right. That is the hole right there. There's several ways that you can really give yourself a look, and you saw two of them right there. My opponent was in a beautiful spot. It does seem like there, depending on where you're at, if that rough bump that my opponent was doing, it seems like with the sniper, there is a straight, you don't need a topspin boost ball, but I could be wrong on that. They might have brought that topspin boost ball to help them on the drive, not the second shot. I thought you could get up there without one, because we've taken that. That was the shot we were really looking for. And if you're if you can get up there into your long iron range, you definitely need to bring out a Goliath, because a Grizzly will not get it done. Not. I say not. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Needed coffee. Ooh, hole number 7. What is hole number 7? This is that other Quail Hollow hole. Man, this hole right here, it did seem like we could get APOC, power 3. My notes, I wrote down, I used the power 3 yesterday, but where I was at, I really could have used a topspin boost ball. Let's pick that ball that I pinned. We'll take that bag. We'll see what kind of trouble we can get into with that. I can't remember on the drive. I know on these two Quail Hollow holes they are different, but they're so similar that I know this is designed after a real golf course. That has long ass par 4s. Long uns. I'm going to be 3 rings. I'm going to start off 3 rings. Man, might actually be better with that. Let's get it all. I'm going to start off a ring and a half. I'm going to pinch up there. I'm going to do a ring and a half. That's about 3. Oh, that wasn't great. That wasn't good. That was not good. Perfect would have been. I think, man, I don't like having to pinch up that close to the edge. For all you lucky bastards that have those APOC 7s, where you got the same topspin as a max out extra mile. I like to give myself, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, I like to give myself 2 rings of separation off of any transitional surface. And when I'm doing a max curl shot, I like to give myself 3. And having to pinch up in that spot down there where I was a ring and a half away from the transitional surface, it's not it's close. Where am I at? There's max. There's max, there's mid. I'm eking mid. I play my Nirvana at 4 per ring at mid. I'm going to do 1 ring. 1 solid ring. That's right. And we'll never know. That was 2, 17, 27 rings. Great to the right. About 2. It's hard to tell on some of those because they're right on the line, so they're 1 ring, but they're on the line between the 1 and the 2, so it's hard to tell sometimes whether you're 2 or. And with the little half, I understand the half ring in this set, but I do not understand the half ring that's in our take shot set. And that is a narrow ass rough bump right there. If you could get into this spot right here, it might be a little bit better. It gives you a little bit more flexibility with the wind. Out of time. Perfecto. Let's see if they can make the shot from distance and get back up there, because that was not good. You know they're not happy. I guess with looking at a 3 side spin ball right there, that is it. That's as much as you can get on it. The way that the terrain is right there, I'd be curious to see what a 4 side spin ball looks like on it, because sometimes you get on these holes and even more side spins really not gonna. I think in that spot though, a 4 side spin ball would help you, where you could pull out maybe out to where your orange ring is and get into a little bit fatter area of that rough. I like to set myself up on rough bumps dead center in the middle of the rough, so if you are slightly off, you're not gonna end up missing or hitting the fairway and flying, or hitting the sand and getting stuck. And when you go back and watch your own shots, because you should be recording your own video, when you go back and watch those shots, if you always set up in the center on those, you can watch where it lands and you can kind of get an idea of whether you're getting pushed off or you overpulled or what the deal is. All right, hole number 8. What is? I haven't decided how I'm going to play this hole. This is a hole right here. There is a rough bump on this hole, and I think that rough bump is a pretty sweet way to go at it. But it is also danger, Will Robinson. All right, let me clear a slot, since I have no empty slots and I'm a farmer. Let's see if we have any good stuff in here. Nope. Take it with a sniper. I think I'm going to do the run down the hill. Yesterday I did the rough bump. And what happened yesterday was so I'm practicing. So I went out and decided what I was going to do and went ahead and timed out, and then went out there and took the shot that I decided that I wanted to do and made it into the hole. But I had done exactly what I was talking about, where I set myself up dead center in the middle of the rough, and where I hit was not dead center, middle of the rough. Not even close. Hey, let's swap that ball out. Let's go with we'll go with that. 39.9 divided by 429. Let's see if we can get somewhat lined up with the wind. There's 4.3. I'm gonna run out of time like my opponent did last time. So, could you have a game plan? I didn't write down anything at all on this. Also, I was leaving it up to the day, and that's exactly where it looked like it was gonna go. I do not like doing those types of shots. There's extra variables involved because it's all about speed. If you hit it a little bit too fast, it'll roll a little bit farther before it starts to drop back down the hill. You hit it a little bit too slow. And so speed is so important on those, not just the wind adjustment. You can be 1 inch away. Now they're setting it up dead center. And where I hit, if we look at that, I hit like right there, and I had set it up in the middle. And so it pushed me forward. That's perfect. I have to go back and watch that, but it looked like they hit where they were aiming. So it's always confusing when you make a shot and you're looking at those bounces like, wow, I damn near missed the rough, but it went in. And that's not something that I want to dick around with on a regular basis where you're only like one blade of grass away from missing the rough every time. In the hole. All right. What was that? That was hole number 8. We're on hole number 9. Hole number 9. What do we have up at the tops today? 14s, 13s. There was a 15 yesterday. And I've picked up 1, 2. This hole right here, we do have a great algae opportunity on this hole. With this particular wind, so we have 2 ways that we can play this. With this particular wind, we can play over here and try and get up in the front, but with this wind, you're probably going to have to bring out a 4 power. But what happened with a 3 power ball with this particular wind is you can make it over, but you'll clip the rough and bleed out, which is still a great shot, but it's probably more going to be long iron. You might be right on the cusp of short iron if you just bleed out, but you want to get up to the front so you're definitely in short iron. Or we can hit over to the right, or excuse me, the left. The thing about hitting over to the left with this wind is if we hit over to the left today with this wind, our shot to the cup, we're going to have pretty close to dead due headwind. And that's not a bad wind to have to make adjustments on. If you're going to go to the left and you want to do the rough bump, you need to bring a Goliath. I mean, there's just no 2 ways around it. So I'm going to bring that bag. Let me think long and hard about that, because the other thing about it is you have 3 shots from that side. You can bounce over, and if you pull back in order to bounce over and you're in the right spot, you're probably going to be in short iron, and a Kingfisher doesn't have quite enough oomph to get me there. That should work. And Goliath. So instead of taking a Kingfisher, I think I'm going to take a Hornet because it's got a little more top spin. And I'm going to take a Power 3 ball. I'm going to take a Titan. Because I don't need any spin, really. I mean, a little spin's always helpful, but I don't. This isn't a hole that you're trying to change angles real sharp, so you don't need a lot. See if we can get into the Goliath range. Goliath. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for joining the channel. Yeah. Look out here. We have no signs out on the course. Isn't this like going to a regular golf course? When you get out on the golf course, there are these beautiful natural, settings, and we're out in the walk through the woods and you go from one hole to the next. Ah, there is. I do. I see them now. They were just dots on the thing, so we do have some signs that are out there. They didn't forget about us. That's what I'm talking about. So you'll just bleed out. What I don't understand on this is they put the signs in areas that we don't hit. Like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? It's 2.1 per ring. It'd be like a ring and a quarter. I'm going to do like a ring and a third. Ring 1.4. Who's counting? Isn't it perfect? Perfect. Now, yesterday I was more to the left yesterday. Now I'm kind of in the center of the fairway. If you get along that right-hand edge, you can get completely in short iron range so that you can do a short iron rough bump. But you could very easily put yourself in between clubs where you can't get there with a long iron and you can't get there with a short iron. Bye. My notes say at club plus 0.1 to the cup. I am in Goliath, and I am in minimum Goliath. 2 rings off. Minimum Goliath is 2.7. Let's get where I can see what I'm doing. 2.5 divided by 2.7 plus 0.1. 1 ring. 1 solid ring. It was 0.92 and I'm adding on plus 0.1 and rounding down. Hitting it perfect. that was perfect. A little too fast. I thought it was gonna whoa up just a little. That's why I ran my ball guide through the cup. I was trying to make sure that I got there. I did get there. That was right on. Right on. I've taken that shot 4 times on that hole. And the first time I missed it, and then it did seem like the plus 0.1 was there. That is a bummer. That should have been in the hole. There's a lot of opportunities out here to make shots, so I'm done trying to anticipate what people are going to shoot because the game's broken. I think they recognize the game's broken. Maybe they're on the tail end of the thing. They're like, hey, we've hit our peak. It's all downhill from here, so let's try and make as much money as we can off these suckers before the shit falls apart. Let's put some signs out there. And they're not going to change them. They don't care what we say. Yes, there we go. Minus 14. That should get me in. I'm pretty sure. I'll be surprised if there isn't some 15s that pop up before this is all over. So, if we try and extrapolate where we're at on that if we're qualifying in the minus 15 is what we're looking for to qualify. Opening round minus 30 plus, weekend round minus 32 plus. Anything over a 30 is probably getting you, up towards the top, depending on your bracket. Depending on your bracket, shit, a 28. No, not the way that this is going. I think we'll have to shoot a 30 plus. So our goal really needs to be to pick up 3. And the par 4s here, especially those Quail Hollow ones, those are really, really long par 4s. They're that getting on with the winds that we have, it's not getting a lot of help to get on there from the upper divisions, like in Expert and Masters. They get much bigger winds. They can even though they're 30 and 60 yards farther back, there's shit that they can do with the wind that we can't get done with our Peasley ass little winds that we get in rookie. All right, there you have it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully everyone has a great week. Try and stay safe. Have a great holiday. So we got Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday, and hopefully everybody gets to spend some time with their families and be safe. Be safe on Thanksgiving. Okay? If you're traveling, be safe out there, and I will see you on the next one.